Hello dear tea friends from around the world. Welcome to a new tea class with me, Stéphane Erler, the founder of the Tea Masters blog and the tea-masters.com tea boutique. We are making these tea classes every week on my YouTube channel. I encourage you to be live with me so that you can ask questions or interact at the end of each class. This semester we are going to do a series of classes about Wenshan Baozhong. It's going to be very exciting, and I've set up a sample set of 8 Baozhongs that are quite different, where there's a lot to learn from, very complementary, and we are going to start studying them next Sunday, so in a week, and this gives you time still to place your order today so that you can receive these samples quickly and be able to taste the tea with me during these classes or during replay. And I think this is going to be very more useful, so that you just don't have the theory about the tea, but you can also taste it in the same time as I taste it, and this can make it quite fun to do it interactively. And since I live in Taiwan and you are overseas, this is the best way we can do to make this kind of tasting. And I still hope that you can learn a lot of things from this kind of classes. In the meantime, this week we are going to study the meaning of beverages, and of course especially tea, in one of Zola's novel, Au Bonheur des Dames, translated as The Lady's Paradise, or sometimes The Lady's Delight. This is a 19th century novel that takes us to the high class and the beginning of these very large shops, like Galeries Lafayette, Printemps, that really became the hallmark of Paris. Paris was the first place where these very large galleries started to operate, and Zola, through this story, through this love story, actually between the director of one of these shops and one of his employees, Dennis, we explore and see how his shop is growing and growing, and how smaller shops are getting smaller and are dying. And we will see that beverages are going to play quite an important role, especially on the metaphorical level. Now, in total, there were 71 mentions of beverages in this novel. This is rather low. The maximum we had so far was in L'Assommoir, the book about alcohol and about where people get too drunk. And it was really an indictment of alcoholic beverages at that time. People were drinking, especially poor people, were drinking too much. We saw that in L'Assommoir, and there were 296 mentions of beverages. Here with 71 we are much lower. In L'Assommoir we had mostly alcoholic beverages. Here the majority are non-alcoholic beverages, with 43 mentions, 22 mentions of alcohol, and 6 metaphors. Now, among what are the top 3 beverages? Again, like in most books, it is coffee, number 1 with 18 mentions, but tea is doing a good job at number 2 with 16 mentions, and then comes wine. After all, this is France, Vive la France, with 14 mentions of wine, and then a little bit fewer mentions for water, milk, syrup, these kind of smaller beverages. And tea is mentioned especially in 2 chapters. chapter 3 and chapter 11, and we will see that the setting is quite similar. It is the social gathering around tea. Now, and what is interesting, in one of these social gatherings, the lady who invites for tea, she uses Chinese set on a silver platter. So I thought, oh, I can do something similar with a European set on pewter platter from China. I guess silver platter was probably from Europe. Europe had a very good silversmith, but here we are the opposite. It's a European set with a pewter platter from China. Now, this is the opportunity to show you how to use this kind of teapot with tea. First, preheating the teapot. I saw some water has come on my platter here, so I have to take it away so that I can put my leaves. So in the meantime, the water is warming the kettle. No, the teapot, not the kettle. The kettle is over there, getting warm. I don't use too many leaves. It's evening, and I want to make a red tea, like in the book. Even though we don't know actually what tea is used, Zola does not give us this detail, but I greatly suspect it is red tea for two reasons. First, the tea gathering happens in the afternoon between 4 and 6. It is mentioned that it is not just a tea, but also a tea and cookie reception. And these sweet cookies, they are best paired with red tea. They don't work so well with roasted oolong or with green tea. And the second clue why it would be red tea is from history. We know that at that time in Europe, the most popular tea was red tea. Okay, so let's first preheat also the cups. So of course, how many leaves depends on how strong you want your tea. We are in Taiwan at 10 p.m., so I don't want to make it too strong. So I'm simply covering my one layer at the bottom, not too densely, and then the tea pot is quite well warmed. Adding my boiling water, and this boiling water, I'm not even going to fill the teapot to the top, because I only have these 2 cups, so this should be roughly enough for these 2 cups. And I stop here. Now, so as I said, the tea is mentioned most often in these 2 chapters, chapter 3 with 8 mentions, chapter 11 with 5 mentions, and in these scenes, Henriette Desforges, who is mistress of Octave Mouret, the director and owner of the Au Bonheur des Dames, this large shop, selling mostly women's clothing, women fabric. So he comes to her gatherings also because he's not just interested in her, but also interested in her guests, because one of her guests is Baron Hartmann, who is also a banker, so he can finance the growth of his business, and this we see that tea was really a social gathering meant to bring friends together, but also to talk about business. Sometimes if you invited politicians, it would maybe also help to make politicians better acquainted with each other, help pass some laws, help some friends get a position in the government. This we saw in previous books from Émile Zola. So these social gatherings around tea use the pretext of tea and also for all kinds of social goals, like also flirting. We see a lot of flirting between women and men during these gatherings. We see that there are servants who help to make tea, who bring tea to the place where it is served, but then it is the lady of the house who is making the service and who will serve you directly in order to show you that she likes you very much or that she wants to court you. So there are a lot of funny role plays that we can see in the book during these scenes of tea. You have to show that sometimes that you are not hurt. When in the chapter 11, Henriette Desforges is also inviting her, the girl that Mouret is actually in love with, but unsuccessfully. Denise, a poor lady he has recruited in his shop, but unable to conquer. And Madame Desforges thought that she would prevail over her, but this was not the case. And then you need to keep appearances, and sometimes drinking a cup of tea helps you gather your spirits again and give you a countenance. We see this in chapter 11. So that's quite fun. We see that she's very wealthy, also because of the imported tea set that she uses on a silver platter, the fact that she has servants to help her also. And so these teas are a tradition that started mostly in England. Actually, I hear firstly it was from Portugal, really developed in England and then imitated in the bourgeoisie and among the nobles in France, and even imitated by the employees of the shop from Mr. Mouret au Bonheur des Dames. We see this in chapter 6. The employees will also drink tea together. Denise, her friend Pauline, and her boyfriend, they went out on a Sunday in the countryside, and when they come back, they split the bill. But Pauline's boyfriend insists on offering 1 cup of tea to Denise, and when he wants to do this, he realizes, he does not have sugar for the tea. He has to go out quickly to buy sugar. This shows that in the lower level, they also like to imitate the way that the bourgeois are behaving with tea, but they don't do it so often, so sometimes there's something that is missing. It also shows us that the tea that they are drinking must not be very high quality if they really need to purchase sugar to be able to drink it, and it's not possible to drink it without sugar. Now we are blessed with our red tea from Hualien, from this spring. This is the regular version, and it's very fragrant and very sweet also, that you don't need any sugar to be able to drink it. Just with these large cups, it is quite warm. So I'm going to wait a while for the temperature to go down, and then I will drink from it. Then on a little bit later, we also have the tea with the boss, Octave Mouret, the owner of the au Bonheur des Dames, of this big shop. He likes to flirt with his employees, the female ones, and his technique is he would invite them or invite one to dinner, one that he finds attractive, and usually they don't refuse. They know that it would be dangerous to refuse. They might get fired. Here he has laid his eyes on Denise, this very shy, gentle, modest girl from the countryside who struggles financially to take care of her two brothers who are a bit younger than her, especially one who is very young. Her parents are their parents deceased suddenly, so she had to find a job, and it's very tough on her, but she has really high principles, and she refuses to eat with the boss. And the boss is really very surprised at this, and the more she refuses, the more he wants to have her as a girlfriend. Here we see the relationship based on imitation and the desire. The more you cannot desire something, the more it becomes desirable. And at one point there is even a sexual innuendo, because he says, "Oh, I would like to invite you, please come to dip a slice of bread into a cup of tea over dinner." So that's, and she still refuses. He's lucky he did not get slapped in the face, because I think the innuendo was quite strong. But she resists until the very end, and then it is the I don't know if I should divulge the end of the book. Okay, no, let me not say it. But let me take a sip of tea. No need to add sugar, and you see I did not even use my watch. The way that I made sure that the tea was ready is I started to pour a little bit of tea in my cup, and from the color I saw that the color was strong enough. If it had been too light, I would have stopped and let it sit a bit longer, but here I saw that my color was already strong enough, and emptied the teapot in these two cups in a way that would harmonize the concentration also in both cups. And now the drawback of this Western style of teacups is you have to wait a bit longer for the tea to cool down to a proper temperature until it can be drunk. Now we still have 6 very interesting metaphors about beverages that are used by Zola in this book, and that really shed a light on the meaning of his book. In chapter 7 he says, or he writes about Denise and Bourras, disgruntled owner of a small shop that is dying down. Then for the 100th time she had to recount her time in the ready-to-wear department, the suffering at the beginning, the unhealthy little rooms, the poor food, the constant battles among the saleswomen, and both of them, from morning to night, spoke only of the store, drank it with every breath they took. So they drank the store. The store becomes a beverage that these two persons drink as they talk all the time about it. So it shows how omnipresent this store is. Even if you stopped working there, but if you she moves just across the street from the store and lives with somebody whose business is really going down, and both of them can only talk only about this store, and the store becomes a beverage. Now, here it's about Bourras himself, this small shop owner. Bourras could feel the grip that was crushing his shop. He thought he saw it shrinking, feared being swallowed himself, crossing over with his umbrellas and walking sticks, so loudly did the terrible machine roar at the house. Here the store becomes a kind of ogre that devours the surrounding businesses, including Bourras's umbrella shop. Actually here the translation that I made with ChatGPT uses swallowed, but here in French it was bu, swallowed in the sense of drinking something, not eating something. So the store is like a living organism that drinks everything around it, especially the dying shops. And this shows already something that is that was explained much later by Schumpeter, Austrian economist, that it's a concept of creative destruction. In order for new businesses to emerge, old businesses need to die. When cars appeared, the horse carriages died down. When electricity appeared, then gas lighting died down, etc., etc. New inventions will kill the old ones, and will take, and the businesses, the old businesses will die, and so that the new can flourish. This is a cycle of nature. Also, younger animals will eat the old and weak, and you need death in order to feed life. We see this also in another metaphor by Zola about Denise's cousin Marguerite, who is the daughter of two shop owners whose business is also going down, like Bourras's business, and she and their daughter Marguerite is literally dying out, becoming very slim, not eating enough, and all that she has preserved is her beautiful hair. And it's written, with both hands Denise grabbed her hair, that magnificent hair that seemed to drink her life. So her body decomposes, and the only thing that is still beautiful is her hair. And by herself, Marguerite is also a metaphor for her parents' business that is dying out because of Au Bonheur des Dames, which is expanding and taking away all the clientele, all the business, all the customers from these small shops. We also have customers seen as a river in chapter 9. Like rivers, drawing to themselves the wandering waters of a valley, it seemed that the stream of customers pouring in the vestibule drank in the passerby from the street, absorbing the population from all corners of Paris. So again, the shop is a living organism here that is drinking the passerbys as it were, as if they were tea or liquid, as if they were a river that came to a larger one and would have to enter. Now, I think the most revealing metaphor is drinking Paris's money. This is a conversation between Octave Mouret, the owner of the Au Bonheur des Dames, of this shop, and one of his number two actually in the firm. And Mouret says, "Capital can circulate 15 times. I've predicted this for a long time. In some departments, it will circulate 25 times or 30 times. Then we'll find a trick to make it circulate even more. Oh, so you'll end up and drinking the money of Paris, like one drinks a glass of water. No doubt. Doesn't Paris belong to women? And don't women belong to us?" Here, money has become a beverage. We say it's like a liquid asset. We turn inventory into liquidities again. Liquidities are cash, and this is something we see happening several times in this shop. At the end of the day, they count all the money that was made and bring the cash to the director. He gets the final number and very often is very satisfied with his growing sales. And this shows that he has already understood the principle of the velocity of money. It's not enough to have, for an economy to grow, to have a lot of money. This money must also be exchanged very quickly. It must change hands very quickly, and this is what brings prosperity. So here Mouret is willing to have lower margins in order to attract more customers, and this creates also better bonuses for his sales force. But what he really wants is for this inventory to be sold very quickly so that he can buy new inventory and sell it again. So make this cycle of life and the cycle of business faster and faster. And here we see that he's really almost inventor, or he has really sensed what would be new capitalism, like these new shops that sell fast fashion. It has taken this name recently, fast fashion. Mouret already in the 19th century had the idea of fast fashion, selling new fabrics very quickly and turning all this inventory into money very quickly in order to make more and more money. Now, we can read into this criticism of the capitalistic system. I see that some do, but from my perspective, when I read what is that even Denise, the gentlest girl, the most innocent girl in this story, actually she is on the side of Mouret with this. She, of course, is very sad and pities the small shop owners who are losing their investments, who are losing their shops, but she sees that there are also lots of benefits for the customers because they get lower prices, and she actually sides with this new business of becoming larger. But she tries to make a change from inside. She pushes Mouret to make to give the employees in his shop better meals, better working conditions, and maybe also help those businesses, smaller shops that are going out of business, to get a better financial arrangement to stop the bleeding. So actually, I don't really agree with the view that this book is against these large shops. I think it views them as a necessary transformation of business, bringing some progress, and that it's not about fighting the system itself, but making improvements, small improvements from inside. Well, that's my little observation. There's one other metaphor where, again, the shop is seen as drinking all the merchandise coming from all corners of Paris, and then dispatching them also again to all corners actually of France. And so it's interesting to see that this shop becomes a convergence point where everything comes there and everything goes away, like a hub. Well, that's also what we are trying to do by making our selection of great teas. We have, I think, like Mouret, some teas that are very fresh, like that need to be sold quickly, but teas also a bit different from fashion. There are some teas that can really be kept for a longer time, so it makes some sense to spend a little bit more time and effort to select them and sell them at a more sell them, of course, as quickly as you can, but you are not in a hurry really to sell them, because actually they improve with time. This is of course not the case with fashion. Fashion, you want to be the first one to have the latest fabric on you. You don't want to be the last. But for some teas, you also want to get the first leaves of green tea in the spring. You try not to get them from last year's spring. So here there are some teas that also obey this rule of fast business, fast fashion. I hope that you had interest in studying the beverages in Zola's The Lady's Delight or The Lady's Paradise. Give me a thumbs up if you found this class interesting. Maybe you have some other comments. Maybe you disagree with my reading of the book. Let me know in the comment section. Let me now take a look. And we'll soon conclude. Oh, we have somebody from Barcelona. Hello. Sanya, I see who it is. And we have Terry from North Carolina. We have, of course, Elizabeth from Montreal. Teas are most liquid assets, yes. Enjoyed reading the book this week, and we'll go back to the chapter 3 and 11 with more focus on the tea, enlightening analysis of metaphors. Yeah, thank you very much. What you can do, you can also go to my article that I wrote this week on my blog. It's now the second article. I wrote another one in the meantime. It is in French, but you can easily find a way to translate it, either through an AI, ChatGPT, or through deep or through Google Translate. There are so many ways to translate articles now. from French to English should not be very difficult. It's just for these. So the excerpts I read were translated not from English books but from the French by an AI. I think it did a good job. Okay, I see there are no more questions, so I thank you very much. Again, give me some thumbs up, and since we are so many together, I wish you a great tea. Now the tea is at a good temperature. I can even make a second brewing of it, and this is a tea that is easy to brew because unless you really use too many leaves and too little water, it is not going to become too bitter. It's actually quite powerful for so few leaves, and naturally sweet. Let me show you maybe one leaf, fully oxidized and not broken, almost whole. Great quality from Daye Oolong cultivar in Hualien. Thank you very much. Bye bye. Next week we'll start with Baozhong. Be there and have a great week. Bye bye.